So I've been ovulating and menstruating every month. My skin cleared up. I lost 60 pounds, and all the emotional, psychological stress, the anxiety, the depression, the sleep issues, the insomnia, all gone. Totally transformed, not just my health, but my life. I got my life back.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go. Some days...
It's a good feeling when you record a good intro and it doesn't save. So...
Take us back to like our first 3 months of recording.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
Wish you guys could have heard it.
It was a good one. We were vibing. We were laughing. We were having fun. So... welcome to the podcast, guys.
Welcome to
Almost 30 podcast. I'm Krista Williams.
And I'm Lindsay Simsick.
We're so glad you're here.
To anyone new who's joining the podcast, we are a podcast that will hopefully inspire you and help you through any transition. We are raw and real. So if you have kids in the car, probably wouldn't listen.
Throw them out.
Throw them out.
Throw them out the door.
But we keep it real. We bring on guests to help us do so. And we are just so grateful for our community who has grown exponentially over the last year and change. So thank you guys so much for your support and love. If you haven't already, subscribe on iTunes. That helps us so much. Bring on guests that you want on the podcast. And please share with your friends if an episode or the entire show resonates with you. It's always great to share with people. That helps us a lot.
Yes, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone March 4th. We're having an event with Katie Dalebout. Katie of Let It Out with Katie. She has a great podcast. So we'll be doing an event on manifestation and journaling.
In Venice.
Sage Wellness. 3 to 5 p.m. in Venice on Abbot Kinney. So you can get tickets on the website for that one. So it's on manifestation and journaling. We look forward to seeing you there.
It's going to be so fun. Krista's peeling my roses.
I know. I made a little rose petal taco.
Thank you.
With her rose petals.
I'd actually prefer that. Sometimes when I get flowers,
and I just fold them up in a little taco, a little red petal taco.
The moment I get flowers, I almost get a little bit annoyed that I like already I'm like, oh, so when they die, I have to do a big cleanup job. It's kind of annoying.
Oh yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. It's just like when if they're dead, it's such a bummer.
I'd rather get food.
I know, actually. I'd rather get anything but flowers, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I feel so bad saying that.
I know. Oh, I don't feel bad.
My birthday's coming up, and I know tons of people are going to send me flowers. So don't stop.
But this is coming out next week before your birthday.
I know.
So this is actually,
good timing.
if they're real friends.
Year one gift cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Year one gift cards.
Whatever you're going to spend on flowers.
$40
instead.
$50. I know. I love sending flowers, though. I send them all the time.
Yeah, maybe we should think about that.
I know. Like, get better about that. I'm trying to like mix up my sending of gifts, like what to send. But I do love good flowers. They're just easy.
I wish someone like cleaned them up for me though. It just gets to the point where I like stare at them dead for too long.
Yeah, they're dead for too long. Yours are good.
Oh, thanks. Don't know why.
Flowers from random guy.
Yeah, just random guys all the time, guys.
Flowers from
don't know who they are.
They send people send flowers to Lindsay all the time, random guys.
No, they don't.
And I say, if I don't know you,
you're gonna scare away my soulmate.
If I don't know you and you send me flowers, I'm calling the cops.
I'm calling the cops. How do you know where I live?
Literally, how you know where I live. Freaky bastard.
And it's freaky when the florist won't tell you who it is. You know?
Did you guess before you got these who they were from? Or how'd you find out?
I guessed in my head. But then I called the florist. They told me. But you told me once that they didn't tell you who it was.
I think this person actually wasn't flowers. Now that I think about it, it was cookies. He sent me cookies, you know. as you do, as you send me.
You're like, what do you want the cookies to say?
Yeah, honestly. He's like, I want them to be like skulls because I hate her. Yeah, and they wouldn't tell me who it was, but if I guessed, they said it. So I guessed 3 people, and then I guessed, and then they like felt so bad for me that I guessed 3 other dudes.
Oh my God.
Besides the one dude. And
they're like, honey, stop.
Yeah, they're like, it's actually this person. And I was like, what? I literally was like, what? Like it was the weirdest thing that's like ever happened. It made me sad. It was so weird. I'm like, this is so weird. I feel bad for you. So I was like, I texted him. I was like, do I tell you thank you? Because you didn't tell me it's from you. So
I know. It would annoy me.
What do you want me to do? Just like sit on my couch like a fat ass and enjoy the cookies and be like, I wonder who these are from. I don't even care. You're literally like, I don't even care who these are from. Weird. I know.
Okay. Well,
I don't like
PSA, if dudes are listening, always sign the card.
Sign the card. Sign the fucking card. Tell me who it is. You don't want to play games? We don't want to play games.
They're just sitting by their phone waiting for you to like post on Instagram like, hi guys, who are these from?
Yeah.
Hashtag mystery.
Yeah.
Oh God. Gross.
I don't know where they're from. Slut. Got to survey the neighborhood.
Literally, it's probably my neighbor.
Of his own apartment. Not of here. Well, you can always hear him going in and out. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, the one over there that wanted to go on a date.
Oh, yeah.
And I never actually made it happen.
Did he text you?
Yeah, he texted me a few times and then I was just like avoiding it. I'm really bad at that.
I know.
I'm just not very good at saying no.
What are you going to say?
But I think he has a girlfriend now, which is good.
Oh, good. You should go tell her that he asked you out first.
Yeah, I will.
Hey, just so you know. Your sloppy seconds.
I always catch them bringing up groceries. I'm like, I get it. She basically lives with me now.
Oh my God.
You know?
We get it. You guys are sharing almond milk now. We get it. Enjoy.
Okay. This one we've been waiting for a while.
You guys have been asking.
Our 100th episode.
100.
Sorry we didn't open with that.
Keep it one.
But we kind of want to keep our heads down.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep our heads down and keep on pushing forward.
You guys are going to keep asking. We're going to keep on delivering.
Yeah, so you guys were adamant about us having on Alisa Vitti of FLO Living. She has started a revolution when it comes to syncing up your cycle. Sorry, dudes, but listen up. Actually, this is for you too,
And your relationship.
Yep. Syncing up your cycle so that you can be feeling unbelievable when you have your period during your cycle. You can be eating, working out, doing self-care to, make yourself feel better.
Yeah, she's amazing. So she was a student at Johns Hopkins. And there she was diagnosed with PCOS. So she wanted to basically take things into her own hands. So she saw a bunch of physicians and they were telling her to take all these pills, telling her to do basically the route that most people are told when they're diagnosed with PCOS. But instead, she made herself her own science experiment and figured out a way to heal herself naturally, to lose a lot of weight, to clear her cystic acne and get her life back, basically. And everything that she learned while managing and balancing her hormones, she now teaches to everyone at flowliving.com. And then she has an app that you can download to sync your cycle naturally or track your cycle naturally, just go through all the phases of it and kind of keep tabs on it. So she's just a leader in the space and she's changed a lot of people's lives and women's lives managing their hormones naturally.
Yeah, it was so great to talk to her. And we actually did a video chat with her. Yeah. So you can catch this episode on our YouTube channel as well. See Alisa. Face. She's so sweet. She had just gotten out of the shower, popped on with us. We were all kind of comfy. She's
so sweet.
So sweet.
I was like, this is why you're famous. I was like, because you're smart and you're talented and everything. But I'm like, also because you're warm and you're loving.
Yeah, she's so loving.
It was like a Tony Robbins thing where I was like, because Tony Robbins is also warm and loving and gives people space even at that level. But I'm like, you're actually an amazing human too.
Yeah. And I I think because she's so passionate, you know, it really came through. Like,
it was inspiring.
She wants to spread this message because so many women are not feeling great. Like they're feeling just okay. They're settling, and it's affecting every part of their life, or their relationships, jobs.
And she kind of debunked intermittent fasting. She debunked keto. So she debunked a lot of health trends or health ideologies that are really popular right now, which was jaw drop. So that's kind of like opened my eyes right now. So we talk about how to manage your cycle naturally. We talk about birth control. If you want to go off birth control, how to do that naturally. We talked about key working out and eating tips for women to use to be in tune with their cycles. And then we also talked about what else?
The last piece that I wanted to say was the just bringing in your partner to the conversation.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Because on the app, actually, MyFLO app, you can sync your partner to the app as well, so that during your cycle, you know, he or she can be aware of, you know, not only mood, but it's like sex drive.
Yeah.
We talked about like, during 2 phases, you're wet, and during 2 others, you're dry, and it has nothing to do with you being turned on. It's just your cycle. And I never knew that. How many conversations did I have where I was like, I'm not wet?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, this is it.
Yeah. So it's just really helpful. And I think the more that, you know, both people in a relationship are aware of this, like the more you can explore in a way that's like non-judgmental and can be really free and open. And I just like, I'm obsessed with it. So, okay, let's hop into it. Alisa's an angel. Please give us your feedback on this episode, what you took away. Join our secret Facebook group. We are waiting for you in there, over 2,000 members, and we're chatting all day. Inspiring. It's thought-provoking. It's funny. It's great. So enjoy this episode. Love you. This episode is brought to you by Nutrition. We're talking to Michelle from Ottawa, Canada today about why she loves Hum. Michelle is works full-time and is a mom of 2. So I'm so happy that you found this brand. What has been like your experience? How has it changed how you feel?
Yeah, so I've had such a great experience with Hum. I'm so glad that I heard about them from your podcast, because I had never heard of them before. Just like I went on the website, did the quiz that asks you about yourself, and got my report. So I ordered what was recommended by the nutritionist, but I also ordered a few extra things that just looked really good to me. So my first order, I had the raw beauty powder, the vanilla berry one. So I use, delicious. I use that in my smoothies in the morning. But what's really been helping me lately is I use the Uber Energy and D3 and the Omega the Great, I think it's called, the Omega 3. And those are all amazing. So as we were talking about, like, I'm in Canada, it's winter here. I have little kids that are sick all the time. I'm just trying to like take care of myself as much as I can. And so taking the Uber Energy, like I take that on days when I'm up early to work out before work. And then sometimes I'll take it again, like midday, if I have a really long day. And I'm just feeling really good on it. And the D3, I take like a double dose because we're in so much darkness here. I'm not getting outside as much because it's winter. So yeah, I'm loving it. I feel really good. And I love that I've got the subscription. So my shipments come, I get them before I run out of a bottle. Yeah, don't have to think about it or anything.
Totally. And what I didn't know is that most of us are deficient in vitamin D. So like, yes, you're in the darkness. I'm in LA where it's sunny all the time. And I have a major vitamin D deficiency. So,
there you go.
It's so good. And it can contribute to your energy, to a lot of things. So that's so great. And I'm so happy to hear that like you're putting your health first so that you can give more to both your kids, your work, your husband, whatever it is. It's just, it starts with you. So that's so great to hear. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So we have a discount code at humnutrition.com. You can use our code almost30nation for 15% off your first order. So Hum Nutrition, HUM nutrition.com. And you can use our code almost30nation for 15% off your order. Thank you so much, Michelle. You're the best.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Guys, we found our spa.
Yeah, we found our spa.
I feel like in LA, I've been like, where can I go? There's so many spas.
There's so many
places. I'm like, I don't know. I'm lazy to ask people. So I'm so happy that we found a place that's like, the staff is dope. They're friendly. They're thoughtful. It's clean.
It's so clean.
They have kombucha on tap. They have snacks.
Offered us like snacks and champagne and what else? Yeah, healthy snacks.
They have like aromatherapy during the treatments. They give you a crystal.
So nice, like a rose quartz. I got a rose quartz.
Yeah, I did too. You can get like wine and stuff. But where we've been going, or where me and Lindsay love now, is called Illuminate Spa, and it's in Brentwood. So it's Illuminate Spa in Brentwood, and they're a full service spa. So you can get Botox, you can get Juvederm, you can get facials, you can get just all of the things. They really have like a full suite of services, cool sculpting, all of that. Lindsay and I have got amazing facials.
Yeah, they were, oh my God, it was so good.
It was the best.
And the thing is like, I love, it was very like relaxing and peaceful. And I love like the woo-woo spas for every once in a while, but this is like the facial that like
works.
That works.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. So if you're visiting LA or if you are local to LA, we highly recommend going to Illuminate Spa in Brentwood. So it's illuminatespa.com, and that's in Brentwood. We know you guys are going to love it. So tell us what you got. Can't wait to chat with you about it.
Love ya.
My husband was like, yeah, my wife's really into the chef.
Bless him. Oh my God.
Oh my God. He's hilarious. I'm obsessed with that.
He's a fox. He's like a silver fox.
He's a silver fox.
He's an actual silver fox.
He's an actual, but he's like tall and muscular, and he has these huge hands, like dinner plates. When you see him in person, he'll just like...
I'm into big hands. That's such a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, honey, that is such a good one.
So anyway, so he managed to get reservations for Friday, so we're going.
Oh, what a doll.
I love that so
much. What did he do for the reservations? Like
nothing. He just mentioned that I thought that the chef was really cute. And they're like, all right, let's see what we can do.
They're like, cool, that's it. So I'll call next week and say, man, I'm really into the chef.
That's all that happened. That was it.
Oh,
so we're going.
God.
So I had to shower. So here I am, fresh from the shower for you girls.
Oh, yay. And so you've been
much.
talking to major outlets. So Lena got a hysterectomy. I know she has health issues. What are her health issues that caused her to get a hysterectomy?
She has had severe endometriosis for years and years. And, that's where the lining of the uterus kind of grows outside of the uterus and can adhere to your intestines, your rectum, it can attach to parts of the nerves it can cause a lot of pain. And so it was just so advanced. She made the right choice for her at this time, but in my Instagram feed yesterday, when the story came out, I wrote, and it's like, people are going bananas for this post. I said, the question will always remain, what if she had gotten the right kind of intervention at 13 and 14 when she was having, I'm certain she was having massively painful periods, much more painful than her peers, because endo pain is a very different kind of period pain. And it was being dismissed and ignored very likely at that age by her gynecologist. Like, oh, it's not that bad. Just take some Advil. Like whether you have endo or not, that's pretty much a universal problem. They're very dismissive of a woman's description of her pain situation. Would she still have her uterus today? Like, what if she had encountered, micronutrient therapy for hormonal issues at 13 or 14 or even 16? Would she still have her uterus? And then sort of a follow-up question I had in a thought that I posed in this Instagram post the other day was, I think it's like, time's up on us as women, sort of settling for menstrual health care that's substandard. And it's time for there to be a whole reevaluation of healthcare for women around their menstrual cycles, because clearly conventional medicine isn't doing enough.
And for just, I guess, for my knowledge, so if you have a hysterectomy, you get my mom actually had that. She had her uterus removed. So you can't carry children after that without a uterus, correct?
Correct. And there's different kinds of hysterectomies. There's partial, there's total, Did you know that hysterectomies are the most commonly performed surgical procedure on the planet?
Really? Why do you think that is?
Because if you don't have proper treatment for women's menstrual disorders in their 20s and 30s, that organ will become more and more dysfunctional over time.
Because
conventional medicine does not have a cure for fibroids or endometriosis or adenomyosis or ovarian cysts. So they just kind of have decades and decades of that being untreated. You end up with a diseased organ that needs removal.
Wow. Could you share with our listeners? I know your story.
We're recording, by the way.
We are recording.
Oh, yeah. When are we going to start?
We just jumped in it.
We got it.
Well, I just want to say hi. And I'm so happy to be here. This has been like a long time in the making. We've been trying to do this. So
I know. And your team is so great.
Yeah,
and our listeners
amazing.
Love you.
Love you so much. You've really changed the game. Me included. I just went off birth control, so we'll talk about that.
Congrats.
Yeah, I feel amazing. And
I bet you do.
Yeah. and MyFLO has really helped the transition, and just for me to feel really confident and finally feeling like I'm in my body and in control.
Yeah.
Welcome
home.
Yeah.
That's what I like to say.
That
Welcome
is
home.
so true.
So true. Now, can you share with us your story? I know your path has kind of been not dictated, but inspired by your struggle with PCOS, but I think it's really inspiring. So could you share that?
In my teens, and I guess the first early years of my 20s, but mainly in my teen years, I was really struggling with my hormones. It first manifested as I never developed like the other girls, pubescence. I just didn't look like that wasn't really happening for me physically. I also my period didn't come until I was nearly 16 years old, a few months shy of my 16th birthday. And then from the age of, 12 to 22, when most girls are menstruating pretty much every month, I maybe had a total of 6 periods, right, in that decade. And 2 of them were synthetically induced with, chemically induced with synthetic progesterone, and they were horrible. And no one had an explanation for me. Starting at 16, I was going to the gynecologist. I was so excited to go because, that was the rule, 16 or sexually active. And I was like, all right, well, I'm 16 now. I just recently got my period. I would like to figure out why it took so long to come and why I look sort of androgynous and what is going on. And they just were like, oh, it's normal to be irregular and, you should just go on the pill. And I was like, no, but then it continued to get worse. The symptoms all continued to progress. I started having major acne, flare-ups, continuous weight gain. I was just, by the time I sort of topped out my max weight, it was about 205. And I'm 5'6", so I was huge. And, the acne was all over my face, chest, and back. I was depressed. I was anxious. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't wake up in the morning. I mean, I felt old. I felt so old. When you don't make enough hormones, you really do age I just felt miserable, and I felt really trapped in my body, and no one knew what was wrong with me. And that was scary. And I felt really alone and isolated. So luckily I was a student at Johns Hopkins, and I had access to a great library there. And I was researching, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I found an article in obstetrics journal, because that's what every 20-year-old girl reads in her free time. And
you're so cool.
Yeah. Super, science nerd from the beginning. And there was this little tiny couple of columns about Stein-Leventhal disease. And I was like, oh, what's that? And I was reading it. I mean, all the bells lit up.
Wow.
It's like ding, ding, ding. I have a classic presentation actually of this condition. So I brought it to my gynecologist the next morning without an appointment, like stalked her in the parking lot. I was like, we need to do a transvaginal ultrasound. Like, why haven't we done that before? I'm not leaving till we do one. She's like, okay, calm down. But I was excited, not angry. I felt like this could be a turning point because, I was under the impression that once you figured out what was wrong, there'd be a solution. That was the next eye-opening moment, was that she did confirm my diagnosis with the transvaginal ultrasound and saw all the little, it's called like a string of pearls of little cysts on the ovary of incomplete ovulation, right? And then I said, okay, great. So now what do we do? And she said, there's nothing we can do. This is just going to continue to be progressively problematic for you. You're going to continue to gain weight. You may be at risk for developing diabetes, heart disease, cancer. And oh, by the way, you'll likely never be able to have children naturally or even with artificial reproductive technology. I'm 20.
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting in her office and I really don't know why I felt this. I heard this because so many women are faced with this exact same situation and do the exact opposite of what I did, which is start taking all the meds that the doctor would then prescribe. Because she's like, I want you to put you on the pill, on metformin, on spironolactone for your acne. And I was like, and she's like, and then we'll just keep adding meds as more new problems crop up. And I just said, no, I deeply heard my cells, my soul just say, there's a different way. I had no idea what that other way was, mind you, at all. But I really wanted to find a more sustainable path that was going to lead to health. Because that was the question I asked her. After she laid that gauntlet down for me, I said, well, will any of that fix what's wrong? Will any of those medications correct what's wrong with my body? She said, no, 100% no. They'll just help you manage the symptoms, but this will never go away. And I said, that's not true. I found that to be I just questioned it. Again, I think I just was very fortunate to be someone who was studying what I was studying. And I kind of just had my own point of view at that point. So I then went and just put my own little research program together and started looking at, endocrinology. I was looking at what was coming out of the Human Genome Project, the epigenetics research that was coming out about identical twins and, making diet and lifestyle changes affecting disease outcomes, and looking at Chinese 5-phase theory and how they manipulate organ systems with food. And it just sort of dawned on me that there would be a way to use micronutrient therapy in a particular sequence to quote unquote biohack the endocrine system, that I could actually feed my endocrine system in such a way that it would come back online, that the organs would start to perform the way that they should, that they could make more hormones and start to do their job. And then my symptoms would clear up. My period would come back. The weight would come off. The skin would clear up. This was the theory. So then I put it to the test, of course, in my own self. And within 6 months, within the first 3 months, I dropped 20 pounds without doing anything. My skin started getting dramatically better. And then by the end of the year, everything was in remission. My periods had come back, ovulating and menstruating. Skin, my skin is, you guys are
amazing. Glowing.
And thank you. And I love showing that off because I used to sit down for half an hour a day with under eye concealer from Prescriptives. Remember that brand, Prescriptives? Because it was the thickest one I could get. And it was not regular concealer, it was under eye concealer. And I would spackle my whole face and my décolletage just so I could walk out of the apartment without being totally mortified and ashamed of how I was looking.
Wow.
Every time I see a girl with like that kind of acne, I just want to like hug her and tell her about my protocol, but I try not to do that. You don't want to hug people on the subway. They might think that's weird. So, and, ever since the age of 22, 23, I can't remember now when that was. So I've been ovulating and menstruating every month. My skin cleared up. I lost 60 pounds, and all the emotional, psychological stress, the anxiety, the depression, the sleep issues, the insomnia, all gone. Totally transformed, not just my health, but my life. I got my life back in a big way. And And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this message with women, because, you know, we're taught in various institutions, religious, cultural, whatever, that we should ignore our body's messages. We should feel disgusted by what our bodies are doing, the menstrual process. Our bodily fluids are dirty, right? We tolerate so much not feeling good so much of our lives, which takes us out of the game of being an agent of change, an agent for good, a force of creative progress for society, right? What you would do if you didn't have several days, or in my case, an entire decade where I was just like, couldn't get it together, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what I would give for that decade back.
And then did you go see your gyno and you gave her the finger and said, look at me now?
Never.
Kidding.
And you know what? And I say this every day, like 8 ways till Sunday. You can't be upset at your GYN. They don't know this information either. They're not getting this training in medical school.
Is
about
that one of your things to educate them about this?
You know, I do actually have a lot of physicians that come for their period problems to come work for me. ER doctors, gynecologists, like you'd be surprised. A lot of doctors just, need help too. Yeah, I educate wherever I can. A lot of patients, a lot of clients of the FLO Living Hormone Center will say that they've seen the book in their GYN's office, or that their doctor has said that they've read it. And so, I think the book WomanCode just being out in the world is an opportunity, is a teaching tool for people who want it,
Absolutely. We've seen it in our group. I mean, they came together in like a mess. They're like, we want to listen. We've read this. It's changed our life. So what exactly nutritionally did you change, and did you feel like was the missing piece for you? Just something that people could, start today, including more in their diet or less of.
Okay. Well, it's a couple things. So I'll give you the couple things.
Yeah.
The first thing that you have to do is you have to stabilize your blood sugar. So the best way that I can have you start that process without you, without us basically doing the whole program right now, because there's a lot of steps to it. But the first, most important thing you can do is you can stop having caffeine in the morning on an empty stomach, and you can eat breakfast within 90 minutes of waking up. You're going to say, but what about, Alisa, what about intermittent fasting? And what about bulletproof coffee? And
literally just thinking that.
Right. I know. I hear you. I see the gears turning.
Do you see me? You're like, they're in LA.
I saw your eyes do that. Like, I know that coffee look.
No, I actually don't do caffeine, but it's just different messages all the time. And it's like, don't eat till noon, intermittent fasting, blah, blah. So like, I love hearing. Yeah. What do we do?
Let me just like fully put this all to rest for everybody.
Yes.
Everything in the diet industry, everything is predicated on the male circadian hormonal pattern.
Snaps.
Everything. So intermittent fasting, a lot of that research is done on men's physiological reality, not women's, because intermittent fasting you can do at certain times of your cycle and not at other times of your cycle. For example, the luteal phase, you cannot do you can't do it. The luteal phase has huge carbohydrate requirements. You will go crazy trying to do fasting during the luteal phase. But men are the same every 24 hours. So it's much easier to do nutritional research on them. And let's not forget that a lot of this nutrition in the modern sense, the way that we look at it today, a lot of it has roots in World War II military nutritional research. Like, how do we make fit, well-fed, well-nourished soldiers that have a lot of energy to do what we need them to do? And again, that's all predicated on men.
Wow.
So you have to remember that all these swirling, conflicting theories are confusing because they're not really based on your cyclical nature. In fact, I haven't seen anything except the FLO protocol address a woman's menstrual cycle in terms of how she should be eating and exercising. Wow. So let's go back to the blood sugar thing, and then we'll revisit this cyclical awareness piece because there's a lot to say there. And I see your questions in your eyeballs. So your listeners should know we're watching each other on video here.
Literally.
We'll share it.
We wish you guys were here.
So if you can, drop the caffeine in the morning. And what about matcha, Alisa? Yes, you can have your matcha after breakfast. Matcha cannot be your breakfast, okay? Have it after your breakfast and eat some food in the morning. And you're going to have to play with whatever combination of macronutrients stabilize your blood sugar for up to 3 hours. Are you an oatmeal person? Are you an omelet person? What are you? What kind of a metabolism do you have? Getting that one thing locked in allows you to have 24 hours where your endocrine system has a chance to do things that are not directly focused on safeguarding the transport of glucose to the brain, the heart, and the muscle tissue. Oh. That's the most important job your endocrine system does. Not making sure you have a regular period, not making sure you have healthy fertility, and not making sure you have a slammin' sex drive. Think of all three of those things as frosting and sprinkles on your cupcake of endocrine health. But you have to have the cupcake to get the frosting, right? And the cupcake is supporting your endocrine function with stabilized blood sugar, addressing the adrenals, addressing the microbiome, and estrogen elimination. So that's the first 3 steps of the protocol. Then we go into cyclical, what I've trademarked the cycle syncing method, eating specific foods for each week of your cycle, because you have distinct hormonal ratios each week. And exercising differently, and even taking that into how you're being creative and productive, because it does affect your brain chemistry, and you want to play to those strengths whenever you can. That's one key thing I would say. The other key thing I would say, if you're just getting started and you want to know where to start, is I would audit your period. You can go to the FLO Living homepage and take the period type quiz and see what color your period blood is telling you about your hormonal ratios, right? Because you get a live blood test every month in the toilet when you're menstruating. And the color of that bleed will tell you how much estrogen and progesterone you're making in real time, which can then help you make some determinations about what kind of self-care you want to practice.
Wow. So the dark, is it like going from like dark to light, or the consistency?
It's both.
Okay.
So you'd have, either dark, and it's really funny. This is a fun little story. So when my book came out, I had been doing this demo for years with my little fruit juice and little white dishes. And so when I pitched Dr. Oz's team, I was like, I want to come and do my little period blood simulation for you and talk about that. And I mean, it was very controversial. I almost didn't get to do it because they're like, we don't think that that's appropriate for daytime television. And turns out I made television, menstruation, and feminist history doing that segment because it had never been shown on television anywhere before.
Wow.
So it was just 4 little white dishes. Dr. Oz was totally into it, by the way.
He's so cool.
He's like, get bigger dishes, get more juice. Like, let's make this easier for people to see. He was great. Yeah, he was so great.
He has a daughter who's amazing, so.
I love Daphne, actually. She's super awesome. She's our modern day, fertility goddess. I mean, I haven't seen a person do pregnancy so well and so frequently. She's got some good hormones. No, I'm saying she's got some healthy hormonal function, and that you can see she's just thriving in having multiple pregnancies so close together. She's healthy. She looks healthy. She's feeling good. That's that's something that you want to do. Good hormones will get you there. Good hormonal balance will get you there. Anyways, so these different colors, there's dark purple, blue, depending, if you have this sort of dark bleed with clots. There's light pink. There's brown, like prune juice. There's fresh red color, like cranberry juice. And then there's no color, like it's missing, right? So those are the 5 things that can be. That's it. There can only be those 5 combinations. So you need to know which one means what. You have to be tracking.
Yeah.
You want to have the fresh red cranberry color every month. If you have other combinations of colors, you want to understand what that means for you, because you can change the color of your blood within a month or 2, and you can get that positive biofeedback so quickly by, as they named the segment, look before you flush every month, because it's like a free home hormone test.
Wow. Okay.
That's the second thing I would have you do. So first thing is change breakfast. Second thing is audit your period. And third thing is check in on your synthetic birth control situation. Why are you on it? I was teaching a class last night for a private group in the city. And, a lot of women were like, yeah, I'm not using the birth control for preventing pregnancy. I've been put on it. I've been on it for 15, 20 years, whatever they said, because of that's what they were told to do for period problems. If you were put on synthetic birth control for period problems, then I would hugely encourage you to reconsider being on that medication, because it's actively depleting you of key micronutrients that your endocrine system needs to do its job, to balance your hormones. Irony of ironies. Like here you are taking a medication to quote unquote deal with your symptoms, but it's stripping you of the building blocks your body needs to make healthy hormone balance, and puts you in a massive deficit micronutrient wise when you get off. So there's this syndrome that I've been talking about for a while called synthetic birth control syndrome, which happens when you're on the pill and when you come off, and can linger for years. So that's why I created the Balance biohacking supplements, because I just said, okay, what are the key micronutrients that any menstruating woman needs, whether she's on the pill, coming off the pill, or dealing with a period problem? And that's what I wanted to build for women. So now we have that. But that's the third thing, is to really reconsider, and check in about your synthetic birth control exposure, because it's not necessarily something that's doing you properly.
I know I had that conversation with myself for months. I was like, wait, why am I on this? One, I just feel weird taking a pill. Do you know what I mean? Like if I don't really know the why, I'm like, And then, I was wondering what I was feeling. My, adrenals were shot because I'm working out. I teach SoulCycle, but I'm like, I'm wondering what that is doing to my hormones. And then on top of that, I'm taking birth control. And then on top of that, XYZ. So I was just like, I needed to just clean house and like start fresh. I feel great, but like, why would some people take a while to get back on track? What would be the reason for that?
Because they're not taking care of themselves properly with diet and supplements and lifestyle while they're on the medication. And then also when they go off, so I would say in your case, micronutrient therapy is required for you, because you are doing like intense teacher work and, putting your body through that exercise routine. And you've been on that medication. And even if you're feeling okay, you could be feeling much better. Imagine if you had all the B vitamins restored and the magnesium levels where they should be, and your omega-3s and your D3s, all of which have been depleted. Totally. Having those back up to full, like the gas tank is full. That's what and again, remember, you're conditioned to tolerate feeling just okay, or not even good. So you don't even know how good you can feel. And you're someone who's in the wellness space. And this is the truth for any woman anywhere. It doesn't matter. But I really want to go back to what you just said about you were questioning. I think that's so beautiful that you shared that sort of process. I think you're onto something. I think more women, especially our beautiful millennial under 30 women, are really committed to a wellness lifestyle. I see everybody posting on my Instagram feed what they're eating, the smoothies they're making, the self-care, their intentions for the month. It's so wonderful. I know when I was 20, nobody was doing that. And so I really love this commitment that younger women are having to their self-care. And I think that you do all that, you do all this organic stuff, you do that, and then it starts to feel a little bit like out of alignment. Like, why am I taking medication? Why am I putting this in my body? And here's the thing that you don't know, that you're not being told. People think, oh, I'm on synthetic birth control, but I still get a period. No, you don't know. You're not getting a period. You're getting breakthrough bleeding. So taking synthetic birth control of any form, oral or an insert or an IUD or ring, whatever you've got, it shuts it down. The brain and the ovary conversation, you shut the whole process down. You do not ovulate. You do not menstruate. You do not go through the cyclical changes. You are not having a cycle at all. You get little low doses of progesterone and estrogen. And then when you take sugar pills, you may have a breakthrough bleed, but as many of you know who've been on the pill or other devices for a long time, that even can stop and go away altogether because you're not building up a lining. Your whole female reproductive system is taken offline when you take that medication. Oh. I don't think that any of us go through puberty and come out of it with a synthetic birth control deficiency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't all of a sudden turn into a pubescent teenage girl and what's missing from your body is synthetic hormones. Like, oh, you're missing synthetic hormones. That's what you need. No, your body is designed, has evolved through the millennia to be one of the pinnacles of like reproductive capacity. You're supposed to have a beautifully healthy, balanced hormonal cycle. And it's there for your benefit. It's there to make you smarter, better, stronger, more creative, more powerful. Not the bill of bullshit that we've been sold, if I can be so bold, that, you're the weaker sex and your period is like a liability. That is from just purely a science-based point of view, the furthest thing from the truth that I have seen. And so I feel so strongly that women should just know this because I think it's, I think the fact that this education about how our bodies work, how we should care for our hormones and our cycle, how to get better naturally when something goes off with your hormones, not being given that information is like absolutely a tool in our oppression. 100%. How do you keep half the population from taking over? Well, you make sure that they don't feel fully healthy.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
And the other thing is...
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Right? And then what other medication is given to half the population just based on gender?
Wow.
So true.
That's crazy. Right? Yeah.
It's a little cuckoo. Just on the flip side of it, when they did try to develop synthetic birth control for men, they put they could only get a handful of guys to sign up for the research project, first of all. Okay, not a statistically.
Is it going to hurt?
It was an oral contraception for men, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Within a few days, men were experiencing the same things that women feel when they get onboarded to synthetic birth control. You may remember yourselves like trying different pills. Oh, so what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. It's the medication doesn't work exactly right with your cellular receptor sites for these hormones. And so you start to have a lot of reaction to the medication. You don't feel good. You feel depressed or whatever you feel. So these guys started to experience the things that women are just told to suck up and deal with, right? And they all unanimously quit the research project and said that under no circumstances would they ever take synthetic birth control. It's the symptoms that the side effects that they were experiencing from the medication were not worth it.
Wow.
But we, the other half of the population, have been so conditioned to like just do it that we do it and we don't feel good and we keep doing it.
Hey, Almost 30 Nation. I am on the phone with Melanie. Melanie, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from San Antonio, Texas.
Cool. I love Texas. Melanie is a business owner, boss babe. I mean, we just chatted about all the things you're doing. I'm just like, I don't even know you, but I'm so proud of you. But she is loving incorporating Four Sigmatic into her daily routine. And I'd love to know more, Melanie.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Lindsay. So I started with Four Sigmatic after I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, and I'm addicted. I was addicted to my caffeine kicks. I've been drinking coffee since I was 3 years old. I come from a large Mexican-American family, so coffee has always been very central to our culture. And so when I said, oh, by the way, I'm giving up caffeine, one day my whole family they were floored. So I knew that I needed kind of like my gateway drug. And so I started doing the research, and I was hearing more and more about Four Sigmatic from the podcast and then from other really health conscientious people. And so I knew that I needed to at least give it a try. I'm one of those health guinea pigs. So I went for it, I was just willing to try anything. And then one of my employees actually had put a sample on my desk, and I loved it ever since. I've been drinking the packets every single day. I actually have one on my desk right now. It's the mushroom coffee with lion's mane and chaga. And I start off my day every single day with it. I recently got a Keurig, and I love the efficiency of just putting the pop in and just walking away. And it's been amazing. I haven't needed a cup of coffee. I was going for like my 2 p.m. cup of coffee before picking up my kids, and I haven't needed that in, oh gosh, I can't remember the last time I had a cup of coffee. When before that, I would just think, oh, I've got to go to, run to the nearest coffee shop, and just so I could handle my children without going nuts. But it's honestly just helped me though, just clear up my mind, figure out how I need to prioritize things. And I never really have looked back since.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's really saved me. And do you not experience those crashes anymore? Like,
not at all.
Or the jitters or the anxiety? Yeah.
And let's be real, like I don't have the GI issues either.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, it's so true.
That was the worst. And so, when you have 2 kids, your body goes crazy. So your GI is probably the first thing you hit. And so, and I already lead a high stress life as a business owner. So I didn't need another thing that was already causing me anxiety.
Yeah.
So, I just started seeing my anxiety go away, and I was able to just write things down more clearly, see things more clearly, and honestly just start taking things off my to-do list more efficiently.
I love that. Well, convinced me. But I just love like sharing people's stories with the products, because we know we love them and we could tell you till we're blue in the face. So we're so happy to have you on. And for anyone who wants to try Four Sigmatic, you can go to foursigmatic.com/almost30 to try whatever you're needing. Do you need to kick your coffee habit? Do you need help sleeping? Do you need help focusing? You can find it there. So Four Sigmatic, FOURSIGMATIC.com/almost30 for 15% off. Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you.
This episode is also brought to you by
Branch Basics. Branch Basics is my new favorite for home. So Lindsay and I, as you know, are on a mission to live a more holistic, a more clean, a more healthy life. And we don't think that you can be doing that by having toxic products in your home. So we're so happy to be working with Branch Basics. They are on a mission to spread the power of pure and create a healthy home together. So Lindsay and I have their products. We received one of their bundles that has the concentrate formula, it has the laundry boost, and it has the laundry cleaner in it. And we are in love with them. So the concentrate is amazing because it works for so many of the surfaces in your house. You just pour a little bit in some of their cute little plastic bottles, add water, shake it up, and you're basically good to go. So these different dilutions you can put at different levels and use them all over your house. One of the things that I really love is using Branch Basics for laundry. So it makes a huge and immediate impact on your health, because if you think about it, what you wash your clothes in is basically sitting on your body all day and all night. So if your sheets are washed in something that's toxic, you're sleeping in toxically washed sheets or toxically washed clothes. So it was so important that I get Branch Basics to have a better way to keep my clothes on my body nice and clean and non-toxic. Highly recommend Branch Basics. Excited to work with them. Use the code almost30 for 15% off at branchbasics.com. That's branchbasics.com. And the promo code is almost30.
It's so weird that, like, if I remember when I was put on birth control, maybe it was the same for you. Like, it was almost like this rite of passage. Like, I was being put on it for, I guess I had sex and my mom was like, oh my God, but also my skin. Mm-hmm. But like, it was almost, I remember feeling like, oh, like I'm a woman now. Like I'm on birth control.
Yeah, it's really good marketing.
Yeah, it was like a cool thing.
That was, the marketing, like.
It's really good. It's like, now you can be sexually free. Well, you can be sexually free without synthetic birth control. You're only fertile for 3 days out of the month. Again, this fear mongering that goes down with your body. I remember sex ed in 6th grade. It was atrocious excuse for sex ed, but it's pretty much what everybody gets, which is you're going to get a period. Here are some tampons and pads. Don't get pregnant. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hardly call that a biologically sound educational process. That was just a joke. But they make you terrified about getting pregnant because they don't give you any information. So you're totally scared. You're like, well, I guess I could get pregnant any time.
I only just recently found that out, that you're only fertile. You said 3. I've heard
days
6,
out of the month.
but what's
3 to 5, depending. Listen, your egg is, only viable for a certain amount of time, but if there's sperm in the equation, you can extend it to 5 days. But it's really a tiny, you get 28 to 30 days of your cycle, and only 3 to 5 days you're fertile.
We could have some fun.
Yeah.
You can be, that's what sexual freedom is about, is understanding what your process is, how your body works, and doing something that works for you.
For women that want to get off synthetic birth control, like what would you say some steps they should take, or how should they get off to make them feel, should it be gradual, or what should that process be like?
Yeah. One of our clients who did this with us a couple of years ago, she's like, I want birth control rehab. I'm like, that's so genius. We're going to use that. So she's given us permission to call our process birth control rehab, because you do need to go off of it in a certain way. You don't want to go off the cold turkey. First and foremost, you want to talk to your gynecologist and say, you know what, I'm just no longer wanting to do this, and expect them to tell you to reconsider. Expect them to even be more aggressive and say, no, don't go off of it. But that's okay, because you're in charge of your own healthcare. You're in charge. And especially when a medication is elective, which synthetic birth control is elective medication, you can say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and let them know. And say, I'm going to start taking supplements and changing my diet and preparing myself. And when I get to my next end of this next packet, give yourself like a month, depending on how long you've been on it, a month to 2 months to prepare your body to go off with the balance supplements and the FLO protocol, and then you can go off with your physician's observation, right? And it's just as easy as that.
Wow.
But the most important thing is, because the concern that a lot of women have is, will I start to break out again? Am I going to have a relapse of my period problems if that's why you're doing it? The answer is absolutely you can have a relapse, and it can be worse if you don't supplement with the right supplements, because of that massive micronutrient depletion that takes place the more you take that medication. So that's why the balance supplements are so critical. Take them every day for a month up to 2, depending on how long you've been on that medication. Rebuild put gas back in the gas tank and the fuel meter. And then when you go off, you won't have that.
What are some of the nutrients that are in, what are some of the key nutrients that they should be getting?
You can find a full list of all the nutrients on flowliving.com/supplements, but they are, a whole bunch of B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D3, magnesium, probiotics, and then some supportive micronutrients for the liver, like alpha lipoic acid and other things that help your liver detoxify. So it's a real comprehensive set of 5 formulas that give you as a woman the support your endocrine system needs to function optimally. It's the first biohacking supplement kit for women.
Love that.
Can you talk to us about the activity that you could be doing during your cycle that could really help to make you feel better? I think for me, that was a miss. For so long, I was just like not understanding that, I shouldn't be doing like intense HIIT workouts the week of my period. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Here, this is so fun. I brought this up in class last night, and people were like, I just saw jaws hit the floor, and I'm like, I can't believe people don't know this, but it's
crazy.
Fine. That's why I'm here.
I mean, okay. I know it now through your app.
Through the app.
Yeah.
That's why I built the app. I was like, we don't, what the world doesn't need is another period tracking app. What women need is a tool that helps them learn how their bodies work and teaches them how to interact with it the way they're supposed to. So, all right. So here's a bit of science, public knowledge on the NIH website. Okay. When women do high intensity interval training in the second half of their cycle, luteal and menstrual phases. For those of you who are not sure what that means, the PMS phase and the bleeding week, right? If you do high intensity interval training during that time of your cycle, you turn on fat storage and you increase muscle wasting.
What? What?
What am I doing?
I was, yeah. Okay, keep
So
going.
the whole thing, right? Here you are being like
diligent and working
harassed into, frankly, getting your butt to the gym every day, push hard, just do it, commit, all this like very aggressive language. And it's Groundhog Day. You have to show up every day, push hard every day. Meanwhile, you're undoing, if you're doing that same workout each week of the cycle, you're undoing the good work and the weight loss and the muscle gain that you created in the first half of the cycle. You're undoing it in the second half. So no wonder month over month, you're like, I'm not losing any weight. I'm not making any progress. My muscle tone hasn't changed. Well, there's a reason for that. You're working against your hormonal patterns. Once you know that bit of information, you can never unknow it. You can never now that I've like just exploded your brain cell over there, you'll never be able to go do a workout without just going, oh, wait, shit, which part of my cycle am I in? Which phase? Because I better do the right workout. And oh, by the way, thank God, the app will just tell you a list of activities that are phase appropriate. So you don't have to stress out about it. But you can't just randomly go work out. You have to pay attention to your cycle.
So it's the week before, which is your luteal, right?
The luteal phase is the longest phase of the cycle, is 10 to 12 days.
Oh, wow. Okay. So 10 to 12 days. And then menstruation is 3 to 5.
Anywhere from 4 to 7 days for women, depending. Okay. A healthy cycle. So, for half the month, you want to be doing totally different kind of workout. First half of the month, day 1 through day 16, hit it hard. Do cardio, high intensity interval training, with strength training combos, go bananas, climb walls, stair climbers, like have at it. Plyometrics, all of that. Second half of the month, Pilates, yoga, yin yoga.
Favorite.
Restorative. Isn't it interesting that nature bakes in the longest phase of the cycle, the more restorative work that's about strengthening inner muscles, right? And you're in the fitness world, right? So you know how much recovery and deep conditioning work is valuable to prevent injury. Like nature wants you to be safe and strong. You should only be, and famous cardiologist, Dr. Stephen Gundry, in his book, The Plant Paradox.
Oh yeah.
He was talking about in studies on chimps, that the alpha males who basically sit around doing nothing all day, unless absolutely necessary, right? They're the ones who live the longest. They have the strongest hearts. The beta males who have to run around and try to prove their worth and keep their place in the tribe, in the community, because they're expending a lot of cardiovascular energy, they die younger. It puts more strain on the heart. So even your cycle wants to protect your heart. And oh, by the way, what's the number one killer of women?
Heart disease.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, so your cycle is trying to protect your heart.
Wow.
You should be working out according to your cycle. Otherwise, you are putting major unnecessary strain on your metabolic system.
The body's so smart. I mean, I think if we really did tune in, our bodies would be saying, hey, take a rest. I'm feeling a little bit depleted or whatever it needs. Like, I think my body was probably saying that. And I just wasn't listening. I'm like, no, we got to push past. We got to, it's the body's definitely talking to us all the time.
It is all the time. The challenge is that you have been from a very young age taught, actively and aggressively taught to ignore your body's cues.
Yeah.
And it's hard to undo that. But again, the app can help you. The app can help you modify that for yourself, where you're checking in, you're learning, you're like paying attention.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. Yeah. There's like, there's like these daily logs of like, did I do this week? And did I, How am I feeling? And so it just really helps give you a lot of positive biofeedback to listen to your body. And of course, you'll find out what everybody else who's joined the FLO Sisterhood has found out, is that the more you listen and respond in real time, the more you feed and care for your hormones the way that you should, the more you live with cyclical awareness, the better you feel. Your symptoms can go away. Like that's the other big piece of mythology that's perpetrated on us, which is like, whatever period problem you've got, you're stuck with it for life. Not true. So really? That can go away. And then you can just start to feel so good, so full of positivity and energy and creativity. You know, the cycle bakes in a lot of wisdom for how to care for yourself, but it also facilitates, it aligns you with sort of like the creative life force process in nature. You know, people ask me all the time, how is it that I do all the things that I do? I have a daughter, I have a husband, I have a business, I have all these people on my team. I take care of women in every continent. I do all this media stuff. I teach, I take care of myself. I cook. Every meal that goes into my kid's mouth is homemade, of course.
Oh, wow.
You know, my daughter's first foods were like eggs, yolks, scrambled in ghee, avocado, and sauerkraut and bone broth. You know, her favorite stuff. Hey,
that's amazing.
You know, so
dream mom.
You know, I just know that she's genetically predisposed to having hormonal problems because I am her mom.
Wow. Yeah.
And I want to make sure that she's eating properly, as I call it, flow from the start, you know, so that she doesn't end up having to develop any of this, because it doesn't have to turn out that way. Genetics are only a small part of what to determine what kind of things are going to present themselves in your body. So how do I do all that? I cycle sync my life, you know, my marriage, my sex life, my work.
What has been like the response from your husband, or maybe what have you seen in couples or women that you've worked with who are in a relationship? Like, how has it changed the dynamic or how they communicate?
It's so funny. When we beta tested the app, you know, we had this like group of 100 women each for each of the versions. And they were all so worried about the partner sync feature. Like, oh, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can have my husband or boyfriend, you know, get this email. And I was like, well, you know, if you're going to be in the beta test group, you have to, like, we have to test the feature. So, you know, like, you can let me know that you don't want to, but we really hope that you would. And they're like, okay, fine. You know, so they did it. And like, I just got so many hilarious, wonderful emails from the women, from the husbands, from the boyfriends. I mean, the girlfriends and wives, that was like easier because they were like, yeah, thank you. Now we're all synced up. But the guys and the girl relationships, it was game changing for them. And in my experience of teaching in mixed gender audiences, the men are starving for this information because, they totally know that they're biohacking themselves on a 24-hour. They're fully versed in how their body works and what to do to optimize it. They believe in that. And that they know that their whole life is oriented around that. So they're like, well, isn't there a formula for the girls? Because I would love to know it so that I could like help do the right thing at the right time and be that like knight in shining armor for my lady and optimize and amplify her pleasure and happiness in our relationship, not just in the bedroom, but outside of the bedroom. And so they're desperate for the information. And whenever they get it from the app or from my live lectures, they're just like, thank you. And then, so yes, we got a lot of emails after the beta test from happy couples saying that this, like, you know, rebooted a stagnant sex life, renewed their emotional intimacy. It's huge. It's huge. The missing ingredient, I just did a blog and a Facebook Live on this the other day. The missing ingredient to a happy, fulfilled sex life for a woman is cyclical awareness. Because half your cycle, you're dry, half your cycle, you're wet. But you think the whole month you're supposed to be wet and ready to climax at any given moment with very little stimulation. If you now know, just like you now know that working out at the wrong way at the wrong time is damaging, if you know that there are wet days and dry days, you won't think to yourself, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get wet? You'll just be like, hey, honey, get the lube. It's a dry week. You won't even feel bad about it anymore. You see, when we don't have cyclical awareness, we have inner criticism. We feel bad about ourselves because we're not home. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we are. We we just feel lost and we feel frustrated, and we're looking for the answers in all the wrong places. The answers are inside of you, your biology, your biochemistry. It's the path, it's the practice, it's the structure of how you do everything. And then it's just fun, So yeah, in my marriage, it's great. Like how we cycle sync, it's like first half of the cycle it really even comes down to like follicular week. We always try to go out with other couples and have that be part of our social time with other couples. Ovulatory week, I just want either a date night with him. They always say once you have a kid, like make sure you have a date night. I'm like, yeah, but it can't be the same date night every week because I'm not the same person every week, One follicular phase, I want to go out and be with other friends. Ovulatory week, I want to be with my man. And then I want like the hot, passionate, let's get a hotel room. Luteal phase, I want us to like rent a movie and like have some quality time. And then maybe do a long extended makeout session that maybe leads to that. Menstrual phase, it depends if I'm feeling it or not, right? Sometimes I just want to like do nothing. And, and be alone. I actually would like to just be sent. I'll say to my husband, you know what I would love for our date night? For you to watch our daughter and for me to go out, and just to like go shopping or just like kind of zone out. That would be really like turn me on. He's like, great. So, it's really about like me knowing myself and really being in touch with what my desires are each week and being able to communicate so crystal clearly to my partner that he feels good and he knows how to show up in whatever way I want. And then we don't make the bad kind of friction. We make the good kind of friction.
How do we put this on billboards all over America? You know what I mean? Cycle sync now. I really think I think it's the missing link. I'm like now realizing, I'm like, whoa. Because I always thought it was me. I'm like, oh, it's my issue to change this or to fix this, and just not being empowered and having the knowledge to make a decision that would thus empower the partner too,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So many of us think it internalized it, like there's something wrong with me, why don't I feel turned on? Or, I wish that my partner was being psychically knowing what it is that I need right now. But without cyclical awareness, you yourself are you're on the back foot, right? You don't realize in advance what it is you're going to need because you're sort of stumbling upon it in the moment. And then you're having all these emotional reactions to it. Like, wait, why don't I like this? I liked it last week. Then you're trying to figure it out while you're also trying to get it on at the same time. So you're totally not in the moment. And then you're processing it afterwards and you waste a lot of time being like, why was that sexual encounter not what I wanted? And you're talking about with your friends and you're psychoanalyzing your partner. Meanwhile, all that was missing was you just knowing where you were in your cycle and being like, hey, honey, I need like 20 minutes of cunnilingus today. Just straightforward.
Yeah. That's what dudes want.
Yeah, literally.
Straightforward.
That's what any partner wants.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, I would like this. Or, I don't want that today. I want whatever else I want. That's, a different kind of fantasy, right? More passionate, more fast and furious, whatever it is. You want to be able to just know that it changes. This is the thing. Your whole hormonal system is so predictable. You can depend on it. You can plan around it. You can plan your food around it, your exercise around it, your sex life, your work life, your social life, all around it. So that this is the other thing I love about planning my social life around it. First half of the month, you're like, I want to go out. I want to talk to people, da, 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 da. And then PMS happens and you're like, shoot, why did I say yes to that invitation?
Every time.
But my point is it shouldn't catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Once you start cycle syncing, it shouldn't be catching you off guard anymore. It should just be like, okay, I know that, that week is going to be my luteal phase. So I better not say yes to social invitations. I better say no.
Yep. I'm going to put that in our acuity calendar.
Yeah. We'll put our cycles in our acuity calendar. Really quick on the sexual thing. So is it follicular phase is when you are most wet and you're most excited for sex?
No. So your wet phases are your ovulatory phase and your luteal phase.
Okay.
Those are your wet phases. Your dry phases are your bleeding week and the week right after you're done bleeding.
Okay.
So you're saying, wait, but Alisa, I'm bleeding. I'm wet. No, blood is not lubricant. So you're not producing any cervical fluid while you're bleeding, while you're menstruating. So those are dry. So if you are having sex during menstruation, you would need to use lubrication. And if you are doing solo play during your follicular phase, like the first few days after your period is over, you would need lubrication. You'd need to get a great lube and do that. I love the Sustain products, by the way. I'm a big fan of that lube and their condoms as well. I think they're just great. I'm very happy with their products so far. So yeah, that's it. I mean, just knowing that, like, game changer, right? Because you sit there and you're like, what's wrong? Am I not turned on? You know, you start to make it mean something that it doesn't mean. 100%. Something's wrong with your partner. Something's wrong with your relationship. Something's wrong with you. But really, you just didn't get the science lesson that you have wet phase of the cycle and a dry phase of the cycle. And so that means sometimes you need lube and sometimes you don't. It doesn't mean anything else but that.
Wow. Mind blown.
Yeah.
So what would be your call to action for our listeners? Like, what would you have them do? Mostly women between the ages of 20s to 30. Some of them are birth control. A lot of them are like craving information to get off. Like, what would you have them do first?
Well, I guess,
this is your plug. This is your opportunity to plug, girl.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many.
Let's give you a softball.
I'll say this. I'll say that, when I was in my 20s, in my early 20s, when I was trying to figure this all out, I said, if I can figure out how to get better, I'm going to make it, I want to build something, the thing that I wish had existed when I was going through this. So what I can say to you is, I don't necessarily know what your next first step is. Maybe it's reading the book. Maybe it's downloading the app. Maybe it's taking the supplements. Maybe it's reading our blog. Maybe it's scheduling a call with one of our FLO coaches. But what I can say is I built a platform where you can do any and all of those things from the comfort of your own home at a prices that are not for the elite 1%. That because so much of alternative medicine is astronomically priced. And I remember that, for myself, I'm the daughter of immigrant parents. And so I remember, being like flabbergasted when my mom was trying to take me to see a naturopath and an organic esthetician to try to deal with my skin. And my, was 18, 19. I was like, oh my God, this is not sustainable. So the FLO Living Hormone Center is the first of its kind. I'm on a mission to modernize menstrual health care, and we've done it with the center. So you can test your hormones at home with our home saliva testing kit, because you can't, by the way, always get your hormones tested with the doctor if they don't see that there's a medical need that they could write it off on the insurance form, as you all know.
Right.
So you can test your hormones anytime at home now with our saliva testing kit. You can track your symptoms with the app any day, every day, the MyFLO app. You can treat your conditions and put them into remission naturally with our digital protocol program, Monthly FLO, and the balance supplements. And you can talk to someone about your problems and get your hand held through a confusing time while you're learning everything with the FLO coaches. So it's like what I wanted in my heart for myself when I was 20, 22. And I'm just so proud that I finally built it. It took a long time, but it's been needed because there just has been nothing for women to really support them in this way. And I'm just really proud that it does exist. So wherever you are in the journey, if you're on the pill, if you're coming off the pill, if you're thinking about it, if you've got PCOS or fibroids or endometriosis or PMS or ovarian cysts or whatever you've got, and you just want to feel better, now you know that there's a place that you can go to. And there's so many tools and resources that you can just pick whatever resonates with you. I get it. I'm a woman. I don't want to be told what to do. I want it to be my choice. So go and explore the site and see what feels good to you. Sometimes it could be just a phone call, a conversation with someone. Sometimes it could be with one of the FLO coaches. Sometimes it could be just taking the period type quiz, which is free. I mean, we have free things. We have inexpensive things. It's just, I'm excited that this possibility for women exists. And I'm excited that my daughter And her generation of girls will grow up where that's just a normal thing that everybody knows. Oh, yeah, something's wrong with my period. I go to FLO and sort it out and get back on track.
Yeah.
Versus now where we're still just trying to break through all the confusion and the conditioning that says, oh, we should do nothing. So still a lot of work to do, but at least all the pieces are in place.
Yeah, you're killing it. So nice to talk to someone too, like an entrepreneur that's just so, I know you've told this story about your journey so many times, and it's so inspirational just to hear you just like be in the moment and, talk to someone that is creating something that they want to see, which is like the, foundation for a successful business. And it's really just helping so many people. So we really appreciate the time today. We just scratched the surface. Really, but I mean...
Well, it's changed our lives and so many of the girls who listen. So, we can't thank you enough. And we're excited to see more people understand that like this could change the game for them. They could be feeling so much better than they're feeling. And we're happy to kind of bring you to them in this way. So thank you, Alisa.
Thank you so much for having me. And I mean, wherever women are gathered, it's just such a privilege to come and speak. So thank you for inviting me into your beautiful community. And
thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Have so much fun tonight.
I know. Date night.
Yeah.
What phase are you in? Like, what are you going to do?
I'm just in the first half of my luteal phase.
Oh,
so I'm still like full of testosterone and ready to go. So this is it's going to work out.
Hell yeah.
I cannot wait to like, it's basically a promise ring for my, whoever I'm with next. It's like, he'll know if he gets the invite to like sync up with my cycle, it's for real.
Yeah, that's for real, for real.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for real, for real.
Thank you. Yeah, that was first date conversation.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean, he had read my bio and read my website, and he was like, so, he was all about it. He was all about it. I was like, all right.
And that's why he's your guy. That's why he's your guy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, have fun. We love you and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So fun, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Have so much fun tonight. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Ladies.
What'd you think?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But I really do think that I've had my friends like who have reached out to me who know I'm going off birth control. They're like, what are you doing? I'm scared shitless.
Yeah, that's like the number one topic in the group.
That like, one, I think the stress of it and being afraid of it probably makes it worse. So take a chill pill.
You just gotta
But this resource is fucking gold.
Yeah. I took the period test too on our website.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, what your period blood tells you.
I was looking at my blood the other day.
Yeah.
What did yours say? Body of Christ.
Yeah, it said that I'm actually a god on earth. It said that I'm estrogen dominant, which I knew that. So, I have the tendency to, but it changes like monthly. So
Totally. I know mine changes all the time.
Yeah.
It's very weird. So we hope that...
so that's the news about our periods.
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to know? We hope that you got something from this episode and it makes you think. And if you have any thoughts, please talk to us in the secret Facebook group. And definitely visit flowliving.com. So many resources on there. And Alisa is just an angel. So tag her on Instagram.
And thanks for subscribing and reviewing. I see that we keep getting more and more reviews.
I know.
And it means so much.
Yeah,
so thank
it really
you so
does.
much for everyone that's subscribing and reviewing.
And thank you to our sponsors today, Four Sigmatic, Branch Basics, Hum, and Illuminate. We love you guys. And we're so grateful that we can share discount codes with our community. It really means a lot to us that the brands that we love and believe in, you guys can also purchase and take part in and all of that. So go to our website, almost30podcast.com, and we have all the codes on there. And if you have any questions, just DM us on Instagram at almost30podcast. And we also have a giveaway going on right now with Cap Beauty. We're giving away $100+ worth of
goodies from the amazing Cap Beauty store. Like that's a good giveaway. And then actually The week after, we'll be doing a giveaway with Organic to Green. They have like an amazing coconut oil stuff. But in the Cat Beauty giveaway, there's matcha sticks, a matcha tin, the Daily Hit, pink salt, coconut butter, and an amazing tea. So go to our Instagram page at Almost 30 Podcast to check that out. And then we'll see you on March 4th, 3 to 5 p.m. at Sage Wellness on Abbot Kinney for the event that we're doing with Katie Delbout. We love you.
We love you guys. Have a great day.